What's happening? My name is John Locke, and I'm going to be your tour guide through the wonderful world of arts and humanities. I've been teaching this class since 2008, and this is the online version of it. Our goal is to become a more infinite person, get a better understanding of art and music, become a good critic, and maybe have a little bit of fun while doing so. So, what's the best way to start our journey into the humanities? Well, the best way to start is to start.
Got feelings in your heart. Don't let fear of feeling fool you. What you see sets you apart. And there's nothing here to bind you. It's no way for life to start. Do you know that tonight the streets are tonight the streets are ours. And these lights in our hearts, they tell no lies.
All the goals we're going to set for ourselves in this class, we want to have that good understanding of the fact that the humanities are everywhere. It is the study of classical art, literature, and philosophy. Also, the disciplines of the humanities: art and sculpture, music, literature, and of course theater and drama, which is the connection of the space between the stage and the audience. We are going to look at the serious work of artists and musicians and writers, some of the greatest, most influential artists of all time, as well as the influential and important time periods in which the most seminal art pieces were created. The gifts of the humanities are going to be one of the themes that we really need to focus on in this class. And those gifts, well, they're listed here on this slide. The inspiration of a feeling of well-being, humans' desire to understand and define what is truly beautiful, love of movement, we love the idea of progress, we also love the idea of beautiful physical movement, the love of language, the love of words, hearing the human voice, the love of ideas, to think that there's something else out there in the world that is far beyond our own cognitive capabilities, and finally an awareness of the past, understanding that human beings have been around for so long, and that is while we have progressed and changed the human experience so much, we are still very, very similar to our ancestor. Another really important thing in this class is being a good critic. We're going to focus on two different types of criticism: Apollonian and Dionysian. Apollonian is focused on the idea of a scientific thought, where Dionysian has a freedom of limits and a feeling of emotion. So you're going to be giving multiple critiques in this class from both different standpoints. The ability to look at the reason, measurable, mathematical, symmetrical execution of art, and then also the Dionysian, how things make you feel. Or we're going to be able to find a balance between those two forces, and most importantly, are you capable of giving both types of critiques? Attached to this Blackboard shell is a chapter on critical thinking. You're going to read this chapter, and that's of course part of this first week's discussion board. And some of the main things you're going to talk about, that the chapter talks about, is what do critical thinkers do? And they don't go along with assumptions. They always apply historical context to the art. While new science fiction movies that you see around have special effects that could never have been accomplished in the early days of film, we appreciate the special effects that were there in 1939 when The Wizard of Oz created the special effects that you see in that film. So applying historical context is what good critical thinkers do. We always ask ourselves the question why, and also ask ourselves, so what? Because the goal is for you to become a critical evaluator so you can summarize the basic content of what you see, know the context of the work, analyze the craft that created the work, and also understand if the work is still relevant. We're also going to spend a great deal of time in this class talking about the disciplines of the humanities, music, and art, which are also going to be explored through the ideas of phenomenology. Phenomenology is the idea that there's learning that takes place when you observe, the idea of observing something as though it is the first time. So we're going to be looking at art and listening to music as though it's the first time we've ever done it, and explore the learning that happens. Also classic literature, since the beginning of time, since the unknown Egyptians pounded some reeds flat to create the first pieces of paper, people have been writing. And they've been writing the myths that are the unconscious of humanity. They've been writing great stories and books and anthologies and poems and plays. And all of this literature is there for us to absorb and to read and understand. We're going to look at cinema and how cinema has shaped the 20th century, the visual medium that brings the beauty of art, and the wonder of literature, and the power of theater together on screen for us. And of course, there's theater, the thing that I probably spent the majority of my professional life doing, and we're going to talk a lot about theater, and you're also going to do a project in this class where you're going to recite a Shakespearean soliloquy in this class.
Is this a dagger which I see before me? The handle toward my hand. Come, let me clutch thee. I have thee not, and yet I see thee still.
So your first project in this class is going to be an interactive experience with the world around you. Over the next week, I just want you to look at the art that you see in your day-to-day life. When you go to the doctor's office, when you're walking around your work, when you're at the mall, when you're strolling downtown, just anywhere that you go, you're going to see art because art is everywhere. The art pieces that you find, if you go into a museum, or if you go into a theater, if you find architecture that is truly artistic and it speaks to you, take a picture of it and tweet it at rjohnlocke using the hashtag RMUArt. Give a brief critique of the art. Now, using Twitter means you have to have succinct communication when you tell your story. So be certain that you do so, that you give us a nice critique of what you've seen and submit that picture. Now, of course, I want you to click on the hashtag RMUArt and see what your classmates are tweeting, but also that you're going to be sharing the art that you enjoy with all of your followers. This is an interactive experience that I think is truly going to drive home the point that in this class, it's all about art. Are you ready to have some fun? I know I am. Thanks. Enjoy the ride. Be sure you contact me with any questions, and I look forward to getting to know you. See you soon.